plane cost
Nalish admit చేసావా? ఓకే,
if we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years.
ఇంకో ఇద్దరు వస్తారు, ఒక్క నిమిషం వచ్చే వరకు ఉండి పెట్టేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు.
When he says big ones, they want to take the windows down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it could be good. Frankly, they want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows. I mean, and many other things.
Okay.
And many other things.
Let me have the Vice President respond, and we're running out of time. We have a lot more questions to get. So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers. Wait, $100 trillion. Give me a break. This is plan endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor, because they know.
Sir, I sent a new link. Please check your WhatsApp, please.
And they know there's a good job of getting this.
Thank you.
And by the way, the fastest growing industry in America is the electric, solar energy and wind. He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, $45-50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump, please respond and then I have
We
to
are
follow.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's very intermittent, got a lot of problems, and they happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing. Solar. I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So it's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. And what about fracking?
All right, let me allow the Vice President to respond.
I never said I oppose fracking. You said it on tape. I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website. I'll put it on. Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is he's flat lying.
Would you rule out anti-fracking?
I do rule out anti-fracking because the answer, we need other industries to transition to get to only a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money and doing it. It's a transition to that.
I have one more question in this time.
లాలేష్ అక్కడ పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ లో ఇన్వైట్ అని ఉంటుంది, అది కొట్టి మొత్తం లింక్ వస్తుంది పాస్కోడ్ తోని. కొంతమంది పాస్కోడ్ అడుగుతుందంట, అది మొత్తం పెద్ద లింక్ వస్తుంది కదా, అది పోస్ట్ చేసేయండి.
No fracking or oil on federal
land. Let me ask this final question in this section, and then I want to move on to our final section. President Trump, people of color are much more likely to live near oil refineries and chemical plants. In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are making them sick. Your administration has rolled back regulations on these kinds of facilities. Why should these families give you another 4 years in office?
The families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic or Black or Asian, it's 9 times greater the percentage gain than it was under, in 3 years, than it was under 8 years, 2 of them, to put it nicely. 9 times more. Now, somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it, and I saved it again a number of months ago when oil was crashing because of the pandemic. We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back, we saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant again.
All
And
right.
everybody has very inexpensive gasoline.
Vice
Remember?
President Biden, your response, and then we're gonna have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people live on what they call fence lines. He doesn't understand this. They live near chemical plants that in fact pollute chemical plants and oil plants. And I used to live near that when I was growing up in Delaware. And all the more oil refineries and markets open in the Delaware River than any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car when her first frost to drive me to school, turn the windshield up, there'd be oil stuck in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how you keep them safe. What do you do? And you impose restrictions on the pollutions, the pollutants coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay, I have one final
Would you
question.
close
It
down
falls-
the oil
It
industry?
falls,
Would you close down the
Well,
oil
By the way,
industry?
I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's
transition.
interesting.
It is a big statement,
That's a-
because I would stop,
why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's a
you
big
can't do
statement.
that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I stopped giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. You won't give federal subsidies to the
Hello?
gas, to solar and wind. Why are we giving it to the oil industry?
We actually do
All right.
to solar and wind.
We have
That's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay,
Because
we have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that?
Hello, Hitesh?
Will you remember that Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden,
Yes,
we'll give you
yes,
10
can you hear me?
seconds to respond.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Final question.
So the phone is yours, the other one?
Takes everything out of context, but the point is.
No, yeah, 203 number. That is mine.
Okay, okay.
A net zero emissions.
Okay, so we are about 4 people and then, yeah, actually 2 people. One is studio, one is your
All
phone.
right. One final
I'm waiting
question.
for, still they are doing.
We're going to our final question. We have two
I think the debate is still going on.
By what they agree.
Yeah, what do you think?
Leadership.
Generally, not yet.
And this first question does go to you.
Yeah, I think
Imagine this is
debate
your
is pretty good today compared to the
What
first
will you
debate.
say?
When you speak, your phone comes, your face will not come. How should I do this one? I do not know, because you are speaking through phone, right?
Totally successful as it was prior to.
Yeah,
the
you're not able to hear me properly on the phone?
No, I can hear you. I can hear you, but your face will not come when you are speaking. Your phone icon comes, like you see right on the phone icon is there, right? Because you are speaking on the phone. If you can speak into the same
Yeah.
device, otherwise you have to say log in with phone elsewhere, somewhere like that.
సార్ వీళ్ళు ఒకరు ఫోన్ లో వచ్చారు అది ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోయి మళ్ళీ రమ్మంటారా
Phone lo వచ్చారు మీరు. I mean, you came in phone, so you have to use both in phone or both in this one. Otherwise, you have to say while logging in, I do not want to use HD internet phone. I have to use my other phone. So you understand, right?
And he wants to raise everybody's.
Right, right. It didn't ask me. So should I dial in again?
He will.
Yeah, maybe you can log off and
Okay,
dial in.
let me try.
Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Your thing doesn't have voice like your laptop.
Very, very sad
యా
day.
ఇప్పుడు వెళ్ళిపోయింది ఆడియో ఒకటి కనెక్ట్ ఆడియో
Audio ఒకసారి మాట్లాడండి. You speak.
What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans?
No, his audio is not there.
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because there are an enormous opportunity to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. At the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right, I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election day is November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Yeah, somebody came.
So there you have it, a much more coherent debate compared to that first matchup a few weeks ago. The president.
Yeah, you are coming on phone. Okay, let me keep it in the gallery
There
mode.
was very little interrupting. They mostly followed the.
So you seen, right, that phone?
Some
So
of the major differences that they have.
Is it coming on the phone?
Better appreciation.
yeah, did you see? There is an icon. Phone icon is coming. That is yours. Okay. Anyway, you can.
Are coming up on the stage right
It is
now.
showing audio. If you want, I can join through audio also
They both
from the laptop.
No. Yeah, from laptop audio you can join. You are using laptop, right? This is laptop or phone?
Yeah, laptop. I can, if you want, I can join through
Laptop
headphones.
audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay. Let me dial in. Yeah.
Yeah.
సార్ ఆయన మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు ఆయన వీడియో మీద స్పాట్ లైట్ ఇవ్వండి. ఇక్కడ 3 డాట్స్ కనిపిస్తున్నాయి కదా,
ఎక్కడ?
స్పాట్ లైట్ వీడియో అని ఉంటది. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ స్పాట్ లైట్ వీడియో అని ఉంటది. ఆయన వెళ్ళిపోయాడు కదా, నా వీడియో మీద కనిపించి స్పాట్ లైట్ వీడియో అని ఉంటుంది. వేరే ఎవరైనా గెస్ట్ వచ్చినప్పుడు
ఓకే, ఉంది అక్కడ, మీది ఉంది. స్టార్ట్ వీడియో ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది అది? 3 డాట్స్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయి?
Politics for so long. He even probably fed some longing to his base successfully using
ఇంకా అదర్స్ రాలేదు.
Fox lingo that most voters have no idea what he's talking about, but he got those shots in there. However, basic reality which they are.
మ్యూట్ పక్కన పైన 3 డాట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఏదైనా మీరు చెప్తుంటే.
Is twofold. One, Joe Biden.
Spotlight అనేది stop video.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but now it's fine. Yes.
Now it's better.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
He is the underdog. According to polls, Joe Biden is ahead.
Now, how do you change the background? I know you can change the background, right?
Yeah, there is a camera is there, right? Lower left hand side corner. Lower left hand side corner camcorder is there. Lower left hand. Lower left.
Healthcare and the fact that the Trump administration has not offered.
इसमें camcorder virtual background you can load whatever you want.
Oh, okay. I don't have anything loaded. Okay, so that's why maybe. That's fine, right? The background is fine?
Yeah, background is fine.
Okay.
The Trump administration has not been able to place back the parents whose arms they snatched them from. So
Actually, we are supposed to be starting now, but I'm still expecting Dave Friday.
There might be some movement when it comes to soft Trump supporters who are unsure, feeling like, well, that's a more normal person than the last debate. And maybe even
Hello, good evening, sir. How are you?
In terms of getting black men who really hate that 1994 crime bill and their families on board, perhaps. But I don't see anything that will change the trajectory of the race.
Hello?
What do you think?
No, I agree with you. Look, we don't.
Good evening, Dave. How are you?
Good morning or evening. How are you?
Very good, very good. I have here Hitesh and me, and the other gentleman also came. Okay. Ritesh ji. How are you, Ritesh?
Very good, Krishna ji.
Yeah, I'm here with Dave, Hitesh.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone.
And then yourself. Okay. Ravi, Ritesh Tandon is running as a Congress candidate, rather. I forgot. CD7, right? Yeah, CD7. Yeah, he's running as a congressman from CD7, California. And Dave is the mayor for Robbinsville. Hitesh is AARA organizing member and a national core committee member.
Nice.
Okay, you can count down, Jinesh.
Yep, sorry.
Lalish, you can count down. Lalish? I think now there is your image is like ghost image, Ravi, Ritesh. Yeah, you can count down.
Ready, sir? 10 seconds.
Yes, please.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening and welcome back to another session of Spotlight. Spotlight after the presidential debate. Today we have here with us Hitesh, National Committee, AARA, David Fried, Robbinsville, Mayor of Robbinsville, and Mr. Ritesh Tandon, candidate running as a Republican candidate from CD7, California. Welcome all of you, sir. How are you today?
Good,
Very good.
thanks. How
Thank
are
you so much, Krishna.
Okay. So let me start asking you a question. How is this debate today when compared with the first debate? Starting with David.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I thought tonight's debate was significantly better than the first debate, significantly more civil, and you could also be able to hear each person as they were communicating. So I thought it was a better format. I thought the moderator did a better job. And also, being able to listen to each one of their answers, I thought was significantly better. So I thought the format was much better this evening.
Okay, thank you. Your opinion, Ritesh?
I can tell you, I agree with Dave. This one today was a much better debate. And I can tell you what President Trump has said. Today, he got a chance to clearly state his success and also clearly identify the failure of the Democrats. And also not only that part, people have understand that for 8 years, Joe Biden was a vice president, and for 47 years he was Senate. He has done nothing, and for the next 4 years, not going to do anything. So it was a very clear message and very clear winner today.
Okay, thank you so much. Hitesh, your opinion?
Krishna, you mean Jinesh, sorry.
Jinesh.
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, thank you for inviting me. Good evening, everyone. I would like to first of all give my condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones in the COVID-19 pandemic, and whoever else is recovering from this pandemic. Today's debate, I feel, was a very very well organized, very well focused on the core issues that we are fighting this and past elections that we have fought upon. So I think today's debate was pretty much deciding for the undecided voters, Democrats as well as Republicans, to make their decision forward where to cast and who is their next president.
Okay, thank you. There was a lot of air about how this moderator is going to conduct the debate. And then Mr. Trump was ranting about that she is going to have a softball kind of questions to Biden, and whereas she is going to ask very tough questions to him. So how do you generally feel? Maybe starting with Ritesh.
I can tell you, moderator did the good job. No doubt, moderator did interrupt a couple of times when the President Trump wants to say a certain thing, but did not interrupt many times when Joe Biden was speaking. So, but overall, I can say moderator did fairly okay job today. Yeah.
Sir, you, David.
I would agree. I thought the moderator did a good job. I think over and over again, I think we always see a leaning of easier questions to Joe Biden than perhaps to President Trump. But all in all, I thought tonight was probably one of the more fair exchanges that I've seen on a moderator's behalf. I thought they really actually did a very good job.
Okay. Jinesh.
Yeah, I would speak my opinion with the other two participants that it was pretty well moderated, and both of them got equal timings. There were very less interruptions and over speaking, so people were able to hear properly and clearly. So I think it was very well moderated debate.
So who do you think who won this debate today?
Maybe I can start. I can tell you very clearly, President Trump has won with the wide margin. There is no question. The reason is today he described in 4 years what he has done for America, for American people, for American farmers, for African American, for immigrants, and for everyone. The Democrats, they have like ruling for a long time, for 8 years, they are not even close to that. And in fact, what President Trump described today, I'm very happy that he was able to convey all his points very clearly and articulate and give right examples and show how the opponent Joe Biden, what he has done in his 8 year in getting the job to his son for that $80K from the other country. I can tell you very clearly, President Trump has won this debate. And I'm very proud of him that today he did a fantastic job. And today he got an opportunity to clearly say all his points without much interruption.
Mayor, your opinion, sir.
I thought the president was actually very good today. I thought he was effective. I think a lot of times, Joe Biden looked a little bit confused. He was clearly having a difficult time trying to, sort of keep his place in what he was trying to say. I thought the president used a lot of good examples of things that he's done. I thought it was very, very effective when he started talking about the specifics of what he's done. And I thought Joe Biden was a little less, effective talking about the specific things that they did during the Obama administration. I thought this was a much improved performance for Trump. I would say it was an equal performance for Biden, but you were able to see a little bit of the weakness that Joe Biden had in the fact that he was having a difficult time keeping his place and also understanding, sort of how he was going to answer the questions in more specifics. I think he was more targeted and some of the things that he was saying against Donald Trump, but not giving us real clear examples of things that he specifically did during his time in office.
Jinesh.
I would, my feeling is the same, that Trump has won this final presidential debate. The first one was kind of a neutral, but the second didn't happen. But this was, Trump all the way, because I've taken full notes, because there are a lot of issues that they talked about. And if you give me a minute, I'll quickly go over through that. Right. So Trump rightly pinpointed to Biden that when you were vice president, you didn't do anything about healthcare, right? You didn't do anything about the policing system, the criminal justice system, right? You had a chance for 8 years. So if Obama didn't listen to his right-hand partner, vice president, how would common man feel about it, right? And in terms of, he was talking about we need to ramp up the testing, we need to do masks and ventilators. That's already there, part of the warp speed, developing the vaccines, right? In few weeks or months down the road, we'll be having the vaccine, right? And Trump gave a very clear example that if this was Obama or Biden's administration, there would have been 22 people, more than 2.2 million would have been died, right? If the mortality rate would have been higher, or like COVID-19. So basically, I think Trump did a good job in this debate, and his last 3.5 years speaks for himself. I personally feel that more than 90% of his promises he has completed, and he walks the talk, right? He's not a typical politician who speaks something and does something, but I think he's a winner all the way, and he's a fighter as he came back from COVID-19 also. So.
Okay. About the national security, when the national security point came, it all turned into Hunter Biden's emails, and then family issues and how much money Biden family raked. That's how Trump brought in the question which Biden has been hiding for a while. Okay. Do you think that the people who are undecided about who to vote, they are satisfied with the answer that was given by Biden this time about Hunter Biden and then the murky dealings that he had with the Ukraine and Russia and China? Starting with Jinesh.
Yeah, so my take will be, I didn't find any, concrete answers from Biden. He was flipping back and giving counter allegations to Trump, but I did not see any, a balanced response to the allegations that Trump made about Biden and, about that Trump levied against his Biden's brothers and son, right? That he was unemployed, and I don't know the truth about, how he got employed and whatnot, but specifically what I would say that see the actions, right, of these vice president and president. Trump put sanctions on Russia, put sanctions on Iran, right? Came up with a peace deal with North Korea. He he eliminated a war with North Korea, right? Major friction. He with the help of NATO, he striked Syria, Assad regime, right? Who was doing human rights against his own people. And in counter, what did Obama did on these countries, right? Only talk, no action. So I would see he's a man of action. So Trump has won this debate, and he's going to come back in the office all the way.
Oh, thank you. Mayor, your opinion about whether people who are undecided will be able to make a decision in favor of Biden after listening to the answer about his murky dealings with Russia, Ukraine, and China?
I thought it would be very difficult for anyone to make a decision one way or the other based on those answers. I think the answers have been unclear. I think it's been, in all of my life, I've never seen a candidate decide to leave the campaign trail for 4 days, 2 weeks before the election. You have to wonder whether he left the campaign trail, because perhaps he thought he was, had a lead and he was going to sit on his lead and didn't want to make a mistake. Or you have to wonder whether he didn't want to be pushed on any questions about Hunter Biden. And I think the latter is probably more true. I think these emails do not look good. His answers do not look good. I think Trump's foreign policy has spoken for itself. It's unorthodox. It's certainly unusual. It's certainly not something that we're used to. But the truth of the matter is, he is the first president that has been decreasing the amount of wars that we've been fighting. He has been trying to bring home our troops. We have not started any new wars. His foreign policy, and again, I will be the first to admit that I was skeptical, but while it may not be most people's cup of tea, I think it is working, and it is unorthodox, but he does seem to be getting results.
Oh, okay, thank you, Ritesh.
So from my perspective, I can tell you the Biden, the way he responded today, he flip-flopped. Very clearly, actually, there is enough evidence what Hunter Biden did. For example, the someone who is unemployed here, where America is not willing to give him a job, but someone outside country is paying him $80,000 per month. It's not talking about a year, per month.
80,000, yeah.
It's a lot of money, right? This is a clearly understanding, and I can say one form of kickback. And I hope that all the people, all the undecided people, they should know the fact what is happening. Second thing is, when we look into the President Trump foreign policy, it's very clear policy. America first. Today, when we look into the China, there was $485 billion trade deficit with the China. No one has done the single step. This is the first president who come up and say that you are taking $485 billion from my people. Why don't you give us back the same amount so we equalify? Not only this part, the NAFTA and all the countries like Canada and Mexico, they were all like working and taking all our American resources. In fact, it's the time, this is a president who came in and they renegotiated the fair deal. I'm very happy like when the president actually moved out from the Green Deal of the Paris Accord, because one thing I can tell you, we can do much better here. And his foreign policy and everything, what is there, is working, keeping American people first. And that's the reason why we are seeing that American unemployment number was 3%. And the companies are doing well, companies are innovative. Even I was very happy with the foreign policy of the President Trump, where he allowed to bring all the foreign companies, the trillions of dollars which were sitting outside, back to the United States. And I can say that the Obama was forcing these companies to pay 38% tax, and this president reduced it to 21%, and it's win-win for everyone. And in fact, trillions of dollars came in, 21% tax government got, the money they got is for school, the jobs were created here locally, everybody won. So this is where actually the person coming from the fresh mind, not a politician career, look fresh, new, and do the work for America.
Okay, thank you. When a question was asked directly by the moderator about China, will you ask China compensation? Okay, this was the question asked. Do you think the answer given by Biden, do you believe the answer given by Biden, or do you believe the answer given by Trump? Knowing what Trump is, knowing what Biden is, Ritesh.
So first thing I can tell you, like, I believe in Trump, what he likes to do. But at the same time, the China is very strong. They are not going to do anything, even whatever. Like, for example, President Trump has a great positive attitude, and he wants fairness in every business. You damage mine, now you pay for that. But I can tell you, like, what happened. China may not come forward with any funding or anything. And with the Biden, certainly, I'm not agreeing any of his response on the China part.
Okay. Mayor, your opinion on who would you believe about the question on China, whether you would get compensation from China? Yes, no. The answer was sought by you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, listen, China is going to do what China is going to do. The question really is, who do you believe is going to be tougher on China? Who do you believe is going to, adhere and make sure that China plays by the rules? And, I think in the last, 3.5 years, we have seen China being held accountable for the first time, maybe in a long time. And, that policy needs to continue, and it has to be a balance. It's easy to talk tough about China. We don't want a war with China. They are a very, very large economy. And we also get a tremendous amount of our supplies from China. There has to be able to have a good partnership. But China's a very difficult partner. And I think Trump has had to try and wrestle them to the world front. They didn't perhaps put their best foot forward when handling the virus and being forthcoming. They certainly didn't put their best foot forward in helping us make sure that we were able to manufacture PPE and have it delivered fairly to all the countries and, every country, I think, around the world. And I think many people's eyes were open that we cannot continue to allow China to manufacture so many of our critical goods. I hope that we are very, very careful as we move forward and make sure that some of the critical needs that we have in the United States are manufactured here so that we never have that happen again. We cannot be held hostage to any company or to any country, and certainly we cannot be held hostage to China. And I don't think Joe's answers really gave people the feeling that he would be able to do that, nor has he ever done it in the past. I mean, the 8 years that they had prior, we were not, I would say, tough on China. I think Trump is finally starting to see some results from being a little bit tougher on some of the trade issues that we have between our two countries.
Thank you. Thank you for your opinion. Jinesh.
Yeah, but I would, would want to say the same thing that, Joe Biden didn't give a proper answer in terms of China. I think Trump is the right person in terms of dealing with China, right? He will hold China accountable for whether it's a COVID-19 spread, whether not sharing early information to the world. And as Trump said, right, China didn't allow it to be spread within China, but allowed it to spread in Europe and rest of the world, right? And whether it's confrontation in the South China Sea, I don't think Biden is going to confront. He was talking about B-1 bombers flying around. We never heard about them talking about they creating islands in the South China Sea and sending the troops or Navy ships or naval assets over there. But Trump has virtually, we know this for the fact that Trump has sent naval assets in South China Sea, right? And whether it's dealing with economy also, right? Whether it's putting an import duty, right? He mentioned 25% duty on some of the products coming from China, and also, giving it back to farmers, right? Those money. So he's the right person who will hold China, accountable for whether it's a devaluation of currency or whether bringing them on the table for doing the right deals.
Around this time, I think when the question was asked, I think it was almost 45 minutes from the beginning of the debate. He started stumbling. Biden started stumbling when the moderator asked about China, and then the North Korea. Then there is a question asked about North Korea. Each party has their own answers, but what we saw is North Korea, the aggression has been stopped ever since Trump came into power. So that's what Trump explained. So your opinion on North Korea and US relations, how Biden would do if he is elected, and how Trump is doing, Jinesh?
Yeah, Trump already did this peace accord with, North Korea. Otherwise, if it was, Joe Biden or any Democratic, presidential candidate, we would have been at war with North Korea. As Trump stated, right, there were 4 nuclear tests, or actually, the host said that. She asked this question to Biden, that there were 4 nuclear tests conducted under when Obama was a president. North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests. Then at that time, Biden didn't have any proper answer. Why didn't you were able to stop them? And what Trump alleged is when the North Korean leaders, were trying to reach Biden and Trump, Obama administration, they didn't want to talk with them. They didn't want to come to a deal, right? So I think Trump is the right person to handle situations like North Korea, Syria, whether it's Venezuela, Cuba, and any other Gulf countries, including China or Russia. I think he's the right person at this point.
Okay, next thing is about the CARES Act, and then 12 million people were out of jobs. And one party says that, okay, we should have shutdowns, and then we should not have so many people out of jobs. Both are not possible, but still Biden has his own answer, and then Trump has his own answer. The thing is, here we have an excellent mayor, and he has an enviable record of reducing the taxes for the residents consecutively for the last 4 years. He being a conservative, when I asked him, we being conservatives, we are able to do. And then about the CARES Act, which is waiting for voting in the Congress. Okay, one of the things that Trump doesn't want is the states are spending the money. Okay, and then I don't want to give it for them. So, Mayor, this is one of your favorite topics. We would definitely want your opinion about how to conserve money and why Trump doesn't want to give money for bailing out the states.
Well, look, I mean, we know, we absolutely know that there are a number of failing states. New Jersey alone has $100 billion of unfunded liability in just healthcare and also pension. $100 billion on a $30 billion budget. So if we took 100% of our money in New Jersey and we just put it toward health insurance and pension, it would take us 3 years of 100% of our budget. Assuming we fired every employee, we let all the prisoners out of jail, we did absolutely no work in the state of New Jersey, it would take us 3 years just to get to zero. So some of the states are in very, very big trouble. We have been deficit spending for a long time. We have not been balancing our budgets for a long time. And we need to do better. And we can do better. In our little town in Robbinsville, we've managed to balance our budget for the last 9 years. We've reduced taxes for 9 years. We haven't increased taxes on our residents for 9 years. And we've also been making investments. We built a new municipal building at that time. We're the only town in the state of New Jersey that has a hydroponic farm. We're the only town in New Jersey that has a training facility for our police officers to teach shoot and don't shoot technology, live training for every one of our officers. So we can continue to make investments in our community and we can balance the budget, but we have to be smart. We can't continue to just make giveaways. Robbinsville was one of the first towns to eliminate our fire district. We were one of the first towns to eliminate lifetime health benefits. And these are great benefits that everyone would love to have, but they're unaffordable. But the state of New Jersey continues to give these benefits away. We're the first town in New Jersey to get rid of steps, even for police and fire. So you're going to have to be able to make tough decisions, in the state of New Jersey. And many of these states are essentially going to go bankrupt. New Jersey and Illinois probably being the next two. We've already seen Michigan go bankrupt. And if we don't change the way that we're doing things, they're going to have these types of problems. And I think, Donald Trump is right in calling these states out. We have to get back to work. We are in the state of New Jersey about 190 days into our 2-week lockdown to flatten the curve. And if we don't start bringing our economies back, we are going to be in a lot of trouble, and we're going to continue to lose small businesses all across New Jersey. And yes, we have to be careful and we have to fight this disease, but we also have to start opening up our economy, or we're really not going to be able to recover.
Did you have any resistance when you were taking these measures to reduce the taxes and other stuff, Mayor?
Oh, we had a tremendous amount of resistance. I mean, when I was taking over the fire district, there were billboards all throughout our town about how our town was going to be unsafe, and the unions were very, very unhappy. But the truth of the matter is, we were able to handle each one of those things. The fire district alone saved our residents $1 million a year. So you have to be able to make the tough decisions. And what's interesting is, while I was getting beat up by all of the unions, I won my first election very, very narrowly. But
that's what I wanted to ask, how you got re-elected.
And it was interesting. So my first election, I won very narrowly, but my second election, I won with about 76% of the vote. That was actually the highest margin in all of our county, and one of the highest margins across the state of New Jersey. So the residents really do understand that when you're making changes, they will follow, and they do get it. And our residents tend to be significantly smarter than people think.
So when do we expect you to run for New Jersey governor, sir?
Oh, no. I'm as far as I can go. I enjoy my job. I like what we do here in our little town, but I'm going to leave that for somebody else.
Yeah, whole state needs people like you and then people like Trump who make decisions.
Really
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, your opinion on Trump said, I do not want to bail out the states. And then Biden says you have to bail out the states because they have X, Y, Z and so many things. Jinesh.
Yeah, I want to say, the federal, a few days back, I was watching 2016 Obama's America movie by Dinesh D'Souza. And he pointed out rightly that how during the Obama time at federal level, the debt of US, went up like in 15 trillion or something, right? And similarly, you can see that the Democratic run states, right, whoever has the Democratic governors, including New Jersey, like this year, they asked for borrowing $10 billion. There's a lawsuit by Republican Party filed again, right? And including the town that I live in, right? Everywhere the taxes are going high, right? And last year I was looking at the town's balance sheet. There are other expenses, hundreds of thousands of dollars of other expenses that there's no accountability for. So basically, my question is, the governments don't want to curb their spending, right? They want to continue to increase the spending, and they don't know where the money is going to come from. And actually, the burden is going on the middle class and the poor and all the classes of the society, and that's unfair. So I would say that the Democratic Party governors and leadership at the federal, state, and local level does not have any plan, and they are alleging Trump doesn't have a plan. If Trump didn't have a plan, we wouldn't have the vaccines being developed at so fast and speed. We wouldn't have ventilators, masks, and so lessen of a mortality rate or the deaths in America.
Ritesh ji.
So, Krishna ji, you have touched a very key question. I can tell you, today we are in California. We are paying like highest.
Your state is a mess.
A big mess. We are paying the highest taxes across the United States on the high end side, and still we have the highest, like out of top 5 cities in homelessness, 4 are right here. Poor performing school, poor infrastructure. And in fact, the cities are planning to close the schools. They don't have the money for that. And when we look into this corrupt governor and the people, the high-speed rail budget, which is supposed to be $30 billion and supposed to finish this year, that high-speed rail budget already gone up to $89 billion and is going to finish in year 2030. That means that by the time 2030, there will be another $200 billion. You can add it. I can tell you, the way this governor is running the show is a big mess. And they have shut down the economy for no reason, just because they want to win this election. For this November, now the November is coming, so they turned from a red to the orange now. In fact, last week I filed a lawsuit on the governor with all the restrictions what they are putting on businesses. I work a lot with the Latino and local communities. I see that people who are depending on the day-to-day income, they are all suffering. In fact, the governors and the people, they are serving a lot more rich people and the rich venture capitalists of the Silicon Valley because they write them the check of the donation. But at the same time, the common people, where they're earning the business, they're all wiped off. So many businesses are running away. I can tell you, California is going to be a big mess. And I think the President Trump is doing the same thing. How long you'll support, because there are 4 million undocumented people right here. This is the sanctuary city. 52% of the people, they are one or other form of the welfare from the government. I think California from the golden stage is coming down to the garbage stage, I can tell you, and many people are fleeing away from California. And this is where actually I'm standing up, not coming from the political background. I'm standing up to fight and try to fight for the people of America.
This minimum wage thing, like Biden says that he will implement a countrywide $15 per hour, while Trump says each state and place is different. I leave it to the states. So who do you agree with? And then Trump says, put a very good argument, like small businesses may get ruined because of this mandate of $15 per hour, even in the small cities also. So do you agree with Trump or do you agree with Biden?
Let me say something about it, because we started with the California here. I can tell you.
California, you have to give $25.
Yes.
to common man living in San Francisco.
It's not a one-size-fits-all model, and President Trump is right. He thinks from the common sense. Now, today, when you look into the part when the federal government gave $1,200 to the families, and then they have cut off the point at $75,000, I can say majority of people in California, they did not got the money, and those, even though they pay the highest taxes. I think one-size-fits-all model is wrong. What the President Trump says is make a lot of sense. People living in Nevada, they can have their own like minimum pay. As well as California, we can have different. There is need not to be one minimum. What is they are setting up for one-size-fits-all model?
This is being a very sensitive issue, at least for both the parties. And then Biden tried to satisfy. He thought it satisfied everybody. But what is your opinion, Mayor?
So I think you can take a look at what's happening just with the way people are acting. So when you see what's happening in California, a significant portion of the Californians are moving to Arizona.
Right.
When you take a look at what's happening in New York, right? We have a significant amount of people in New York, and especially New York City, that are moving out of New York City, typically to Florida and some of the other southern states. So you're seeing the migration of people. I always tell my residents all the time, I run our town like a business, and I look at our homes as our shareholder price, right? If I'm increasing shareholder price, I'm increasing the value of their homes. People want to move into my town. If people want to move out of my town, then their share price is going down, right? And the home value is going down. For most people, their home is the biggest investment that they've ever made. And you're seeing the policies happening right now. You're seeing people fleeing New York. You are seeing people fleeing California. In fact, so much so that it's actually changing the voting demographic in places like Arizona and Florida, where typically those red states are now turning purple. What I find fascinating is that people will leave a state because they don't like the tax policies and they don't like the government, and they'll move to a new state, but they'll continue to vote the way that they used to vote, thinking that perhaps this time it will be different. So it really is amazing to me, but I think you're seeing the proof of what's happening just with how people are acting in the migration that you're seeing right now from the residents leaving.
About the border, and then Dinesh, you want to add something on this one?
No, I want to bring in the same point of view that the southern states are poorer than the northern states, right? So one size fits all is not the right model. So I would go with what Trump said, that it cannot be uniform blanket law for everybody. It has to be upon states to decide, how they want to implement this $15 wage.
Okay, while CNN on my TV is trying to make Biden win, we are trying in a different discussion altogether in a different way about the border, and then 500 families and 500. What Biden says is 500 kids, and then 500 parents are crying. And what is this man doing? while Trump says this is all because of you started the cages. So this is the moment I think which Biden tries to catch on the sentiment of people. Okay, I want your opinion on this one. Whose sentiment he's trying to catch? The people yet to become citizens or yet to become residents of America, or the people of America? Jinesh.
Yeah, so I would like to add that, when this question was asked to Biden, he didn't have any answers. Basically, when Trump countered him about the cages, he was trying to bring the same sentimental stories he used to spread like since years, and Hillary and other Democratic leaders were trying to spread about, you're trying to snatch away hands of, children versus the parents. But at the same time, I'm of the opinion that we have to fix the problem offshore. Right? Why are the people coming from the other countries illegally to our country? Right? We have to hold their governments accountable. Right? At that point, we have crossed that point where we
They
can
are
only,
not. They are not coming as refugees. They are coming as if they are coming to invade a country. So that's what people have to understand.
Yep. It's bringing a tax burden. They're getting a lot of freebies. It's becoming a burden for the middle class and other classes of the society, right? And that's why our healthcare costs are going up, taxes, everything is going up. So everybody has to understand. So that's very important, basically.
Biden says that, okay, our characters are on the ballot. Okay, this is what is one of the statement. And then Trump has given his answer for that. Who do you believe, like with 47 years of career in politics and what he has done? One of the points that was raised by Trump is a very good statement. I'm a businessman. When I'm doing business, I did have bank accounts in China. That's okay. When you are a politician, you are earning money. That's not okay. So now I want your opinions about this one.
So Krishnaji, I can tell you on this part.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So when the Biden say that character on the ballot, in fact, this is all completely BS. Sorry to say that. In fact, when I look into the President Trump, last 3.5 years, what he has done for the country, no president have done this. They don't have a guts to negotiate with the China. They don't have the guts to negotiate the NAFTA. They don't have a guts to stop the terrorism coming to our country. They don't have a guts to bring all the manufacturing back. In fact, motivating the companies to bring the manufacturing back. And while doing this thing and negotiating the trade deal, he need to become tough. And once he need to become tough, there is a certain way to negotiate. And this is his negotiating style to keep the America first. This is what the people need to understand. And what the Biden is describing himself for 47 years as a Senate and 8 years part of the VP, he didn't do anything. And for the next 4 years also, once he get elected, he will not do anything. He just all political stunt to get the vote, nothing else.
Jinesh.
Yourself,
sir. Dinesh?
Yep. Sorry, can you hear me? Okay. So, sorry, can you repeat your question? Sorry, I just I was reading something.
About the character. See, Biden says our characters are on ballot. Whose character you think is impeccable to be president in these circumstances?
Yeah, I think as I said earlier, and I've been all over the Twitter also saying multiple times that the time is demanding that for America and the world, Trump is the right president for this country, who can not just deal with international terror, international pandemics at this point, whether it's dealing with China, whether it's dealing with terrorism from coming from ISIS and elsewhere else, whether it's illegal immigration coming from Mexico and other countries, or whether it's dealing with the domestic quote unquote terror, as we are seeing some of the riots that's happening across the country. There's a lot of lawlessness. There were police stations being fired, and people are doing nothing, right? There are state governments not even sending National Guards to save the these properties. So I don't know what kind of a country that are we going to trying to give to our next generation. This is not the country. This is a country of laws. Okay, we cannot have one law for somebody and another law for somebody else. So it has to be equal for everybody.
Thank you. Mayor, you have any opinion on this one, like about the character on ballot?
I do, and I think for most Americans, people are not used to Trump's rhetoric. They're not used to the way he speaks. He's definitely different than any politician we've ever heard. And I think for some people, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. But on the other side of the coin, his negotiating style does work. I mean, he's the first president that has brought peace to the Middle East. And I'm surprised that he doesn't talk about that more and more. But, the fact of the matter is he has actually negotiated peace between Israel and a couple of the countries in the Middle East. He's renegotiated all of his trade agreements. He continues to be able to bring, America first policies back and forth. And, on immigration, it's unfortunate. I don't think any of us can fault any family for wanting to come to the United States to better their family. I think every one of us put in that situation would do whatever we needed to do what we had to do to provide for our family. And I don't think we can fault people for wanting to come to the United States to try and make things better for their family. But immigration can be fixed fairly easily. And what we need to be focused on is not attacking the people who want to come here to better their lives, but attacking on the companies that are cheating. We need to really, really focus on those companies that are not paying taxes and are continuing to hire people illegally and not paying their share of corporate taxes. And that's where we really should be focusing, because if we crack down on the companies that are cheating, then A, illegal immigration would stop. B, everyone would be paying their fair share. And also the companies that are doing things correctly and are paying their taxes will now be able to compete fairly against those who are not paying their fair share and are not paying taxes. And as long as we run a fair, playing field, then I think we can fix illegal immigration quite quickly. Because if the employers stop hiring people and stop cheating, then you're going to see an awful lot less people coming to the United States, at least coming illegally, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of discussion about shutdown, slowdown, opening up, losing jobs, economy, this, that, and different things. And Trump, right from the beginning, is on only one thing. Like if we shut down completely, there will be a lot of other kind of losses. And then he's advocating for opening of the schools. And then he's not, as you said, he's not using safely, except for that one word, he's doing everything right, in my opinion. Because if we close everything for the last 9 months, everything would have gone to dogs, this country, whole country. So as a mayor, you must have exercised the similar things more wisely. Can you tell our audience about how you opened our city?
We've been focused very much on the data. We've also been making sure that we open safely as best that we can. And we're also focusing on the numbers. The truth of the matter is, right, if we really look at this virus, if we really had good information from the beginning, we would have taken all of our resources and all of our PPE, and we would have protected the nursing homes, we would have protected the assisted living facilities, and we would have protected the group homes. That's where the significant amount of deaths that have happened. What we're not seeing are significant deaths among the young people. So we spent a lot of time closing businesses, we spent a lot of time closing our schools. What we really should have done was spend a lot of time protecting our seniors. Now, it's easy for me to say that now because I have the benefit of hindsight. But we do
you
have
learn
that.
now. Yes, go ahead.
But now that we have that information, we have to continue to open our schools. We cannot continue to allow our children to go 2 years without having a proper education. We're seeing what's happening right now with the opioid crisis, with the suicide crisis, with businesses that are now perhaps not being able to recover. We're seeing family businesses that have been in their families for generations closing. So the shutdown did not work. And the truth of the matter is, our governor's not even, he claims that he's always listening to the scientists, but Fauci came to New Jersey and said it was time for New Jersey to open, and the governor still hasn't opened it and said he's not going to listen to that data. So we don't really even understand what data there is. And we have seen that the death rate in New Jersey since June has really not moved. And yet our state continues to remain closed. Our schools continue to remain either partially or fully closed. And we're not seeing any types of spikes among the young people. And it is really a tragedy that we are not, seeing our governor reopen this state. And remember, we're on day 190 of the 2-week to flatten the curve.
Okay. Yeah, true. Jinesh, your opinion about how things are happening and how? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with the panelist and what Trump said, that the cure cannot be bigger than the problem, right? Basically, he did mention about the psychological impact on students, children not going outside their homes and not playing, or not going to schools to learn, right, in the classroom setting, right? They can still have a social distance with the mask and still learn, right? Even if it's for a few hours, but that will change the psychological environment that they're in, right? And then as Dave mentioned about the drug abuse, right? So that's another issue, the opioid crisis and other things. So at the same time, like the say Phil Murphy and other administrations, right? They want to continue to shut down the states, especially Democratic states, and at the same time, they want more money from the federal government. That doesn't make sense. It's like so that's my opinion, basically.
Okay, Ritesh ji.
First of all, I can tell you, Democratic governor, especially in my state, basically they try to shut it down just for the political gain. They never thought of what will happen to the families, what will happen to the people, what will happen to the daily wage worker, even what will happen to the undocumented 4 million, because they are not going to get any financial aid from the government or anything. So in fact, things have become far worse. Today, when we look into the governor, when he's converted into orange, no doubt we have some data. But then when we look into the virus discovered, first of all, WHO as well as CDC, they did not do the good job on sharing the information, how it's spreading. Till today, actually, I am asking for the data from our governor. What is the point and how it is spreading? They don't have that data, or maybe they have the data, they don't want to share with us how it's spreading. In fact, even it is a closed door, still the virus is actually spreading. So in fact, nothing much changed, but now we are near the elections, they are turning into orange. Think of it. So many businesses, they already suffered. So many businesses are already closed down. So many people who used to do the daily work, now they are out of the job. And I can say that California is suffering every day. And if this continues like this, it will be so sad. And I can tell you, Krishnaji, first of all, we might have opened after 2 weeks with all the precaution, where the seniors and children, they might have stayed home, and the young people, they can wear the mask and they can follow the social distancing guideline, and they can start working for the companies. And those who can stay home and work, we can give them preference. Those who cannot stay home and work, we should allow them, so that the economy will keep on rolling. We continue to get taxes and we continue to feed the families. Today, the situation is such that there is no food on the table. And not many people know this thing. I want to tell you one thing. When the President Trump is paying to the farmers, at the same time, President Trump is buying a lot of food from the farmers. Every week, President Trump is giving weekly food to all the Latino and all the poor families, even Asian families, every week. And that food is like one full of box with the meat, with the milk and everything. All those media will not cover that part. They will only cover the leftist section.
We almost came to the end of the session. I'll just show some survey we have sent about the debate. Not so many people followed, but it's just a survey. I just want to show the results by sharing the screen. And after that, one more question, and then I'll close this one.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you vote in one or more elections run by US government during the last 10 years? So 50% of the people said they did not vote, and 50% they voted. And did you feel both parties have behaved more decently in the final debate? Most of the people agreed. 66.7% people agreed both parties have done well. Do you think the moderator of the presidential debate has been impartial? 75% said yes, the moderator has been impartial. Which of the following describes you most appropriately? Registered Republican, there are about 41%, and registered Democratic, 8.33. Undecided voters are 50%. Did this debate cover all the points that you want to listen from the candidates? 75% said yes, and 25% said no. Who do you think won the debate? 45.45% said Trump, and then 54% people said Biden won. This is about the viewers, our viewers. Okay. Now coming back to the last and final question about the immigration. Okay, Trump has directly put a question. What did you do in the last 80 years plus 40 years? Okay, do you think that whatever Biden told is right from his heart, Ritesh ji, about the immigration?
Sorry, I missed the last part. Seems like, can you please say what the Biden said, then I can answer my question on the immigration, because I'm very close on that.
No, Trump said you did not do whatever you said in the for the immigration in the last 80 years or 47 years, whatever they are. Okay, so this is what is generally one of the statement I picked up from Trump. So do you believe that Biden is going to do whatever he said he would do? He said he is going to fix and then he will show a pathway to 11 million people in whatever it is, they give documents and so on and so forth.
I can tell you. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. So Krishnaji, first of all, what President Trump has done for the people in 4 years, as I said earlier, Biden not even close. For last 8 years plus 47 years in the Senate, Biden did not do anything. Today, when you look into the policies, the DACA children, those are the children, they are suffering for the long time. And there are not many, I think they are close to 56,000 children. I think he might have given the citizenship path very easily. Second thing is TPS. TPS, their paper will be expiring in month of January. And all those people from the Honduras and other communities, they are also suffering. They might have fixed it for the one time because those people are already here for last 20 years. And now there is no way for them to go back. And this is where the Biden might have worked. Third thing is 600,000 Indian families waiting for the green card. Now, Biden, they talk about the plan for the undocumented, but they don't talk about the legal 600,000 Indian families who came here and they are paying the taxes and they are working for America and everything, and they are not touching it. So first thing, Krishnaji, is Biden is just big hoax, I can tell you. He's just talking from the election point of view. If he really want to do it, he was having the House, he was having the Senate. He really...
I lost you, sir. Hello? Jinesh? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, now it's fine. Go ahead.
So what I meant to say is Biden don't understand how the people suffer with the immigration. Whereas on the other side, the President Trump, he came in, he fixed the problem of H-1B. They used to pay 40,000 earlier. Now the H-1B, same H-1B is getting 110,000. He asked the business to pay the share and take care of the immigrant. He's working for them. No doubt the media show the wrong picture. And this is where, Kishanji, I believe Biden, after coming as a VP, as a 8-year, he will not do anything. I believe in the Trump. He will take care of TPS, DACA, and the green card for the H-1B, and he will take care of the families.
Also, your remarks are whatever you want to tell our audience before we close, sir. Ritesh.
My remark? Okay.
Yeah, your view. Whatever you want to say to our audience, our viewers.
I just want to tell my audience that President Donald Trump is another replica of Prime Minister Modi ji. They are working very closely. President Trump is working for you. He's fighting for you. He's a billionaire. He can sit at home and enjoy his life. And he don't even take a salary. This is the first president who don't take a salary. And he fight for American people. And today, all the countries who were taking the advantage of America, he's fixing it one by one in a very short period. My only request to you is look from the angle who is working for you and vote for the president who is going to protect you from the Islamist terrorism as well and from all the angles and take care of you. And this is where actually myself, Ritesh Tandon, if you have any friends in the Bay Area, please tell them to vote for me. And all this, what Biden is doing, the same race-based discrimination, everything happening in the Bay Area. And this is where my fight comes into picture to protect our people, our community, our Americans, as well as India. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Jinesh, thank you.
Yeah, I would also, like to say that Trump is the right president for this country at this point. More than, as I said, 90% of his promises he has completed, whether now it's bringing the revised, Affordable Care Act, covering the pre-existing conditions, whether it's dealing with any national security threats, right? Whether it's lowering down the drug prices, right? Whether it's dealing with illegal immigration or legal immigration, right? Whether it's dealing with the domestic terror, whether it's dealing with the unemployment. He had the least unemployment rate before the pandemic hit us, right? The stock market, the real estate prices, and the 401ks, everything is up right now. And as soon as we have the vaccines and economy is booming again, very well again, everything will be at a record high. So I think he's the best person to become the president of this country at this point, and America should never miss this chance at this point.
Okay, thank you, Jinesh. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ritesh Tandon. Thanks for your time. And viewers, remember, November 3rd is the election. Please go and vote. You can mail in the vote, or you can go in person and vote early, or you can go on the election day and go vote early, but don't miss to vote. This election, there's no other election where the choice is very clear. In this election, the choice is clear, very clear. One party and another party. There is no confusion between who to choose. Okay, choose the right person who is working for American people, and that is Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishna.